Hello all, welcome back to Datacraft Institute. So this would be the video on OLTP versus OLAP systems. Okay, so let's start. Now why this matters? This concept is extremely important because it explains how data flows inside a company from business applications to analytics and reporting. It also explains why SQL works differently in different environments. So to summarize, it will help us understand why different databases exist for analytics and for transactions. Okay, why SQL behaves differently in each system, how data moves from business applications to analytics dashboards, and why data warehouses are needed. Now, what is an OLTP system? OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing System. These are the systems used for day-to-day business operations like placing an order on Amazon, booking a ticket, or making a payment. They handle small, fast transactions and need to be extremely reliable. Okay, so to summarize, these are the characteristics. They are used for daily business operations. They handle fast inserts and updates, small and quick transactions, not heavy queries. Okay, and they are used, they have to be real time. Okay, real time user activity is one of the important characteristics of OLTP system. Okay, so where are these used? If you see banking system, ATMs, so whenever you withdraw money, your balance is updated. So this is an example of OLTP system. When you place an order, when you book a ticket, the inventory should be up, the seat should be updated, it should be -1. And similarly, when you place an order, the inventory of the product, the stocks should be updated. Okay, whenever you buy something on supermarket, in a supermarket, in that cases we use an OLTP system. Okay, characteristics of OLTP system. OLTP systems handles thousands of users at the same time, so they must respond quickly. Imagine how many people are placing orders on Amazon. Very fast response time. They generally have fast response time. You don't want the system to hang when you place an order or something. Okay, highly normalized table. What is normalization? So let's take the Amazon example itself. You will have your own profile in Amazon where you will have your name, your address, your phone number, all those details. Okay, and when you place an order, and this will be stored in the customer table, your details, and when you place an order, that order will be stored in the orders table. This orders table might only have your customer ID, not all your details in the orders table, because that will increase the size of the orders table. And whenever they need additional detail using your customer ID, they will fetch from the customer table. Okay, this is an example of normalized, how data is normalized. In an OLAP system, it is stored, mostly data is stored in denormalized way, where everything is in a same table, your name, everything, for easier reporting purposes. We will come to that. Okay, and then as a fourth point, it focuses on accuracy and consistency, and it handles many users at once. Okay, from versus to and. So the topic of this particular video is OLTP versus OLAP, but they are not competitors. They are partners in a sophisticated data ecosystem. Before we start OLAP, let us understand why we can't do what we do in OLAP in OLTP system. Why we cannot run analytics on OLTP system. First is performance collapse. Complex analytical queries can lock tables and consume resources, dramatically slowing down day-to-day business operation. If you will run complex queries, they can lead to a deadlock also. Okay, and one of the jobs, either your query or a person who is doing a transaction like placing an order, will get terminated. And this particular phenomena where one of the job is getting terminated is called a deadlock, and the job which gets terminated is called as a deadlock victim. Okay, so one of them will be getting terminated, so that is one of the reasons. Secondly, concurrency issues, like your cashier has to wait till the manager's report to finish before they can serve the next customer. So that is why generally there are separate systems. Okay, as a best practice. There are hybrid systems also, but generally in most of the organization, at least where I have worked, I have seen it separate systems. Okay, so what is an OLAP system? OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing System. These systems are used for analytics and not for real-time transaction. Okay, this is where SQL queries run on millions or even billions of rows to create reports and insights, unlike just single transaction like updating balance or updating user like in OLTP systems. Okay, so what are the characteristics? It is used for analytics and reporting. There are large data queries, aggregations, and historical analysis. Okay, generally used for historical analysis. Popular OLAP systems are Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift, and Datamart. Okay, how businesses use OLAP for insight. So what is the use cases of OLAP? Okay, so these systems are used for analytics and not for real-time transaction. For example, sales trend dashboard, analyzing monthly sales performance by region. Okay, business intelligence, like comparing the profitability across different departments. Data warehouses like Snowflake and which combine data from multiple sources which are used for analytics. Okay, forecasting and planning, using historical data and patterns to predict future demand. Okay, so what are the characteristics of OLAP? So in OLAP, data is optimized for reading and not writing. Tables are often denormalized, means data is stored in more analysis friendly format which is easier to read. There are normalized tables also, okay, but generally for reporting applications to read, we keep it in a denormalized format, the final tables which will be read by the reporting applications. Okay, and systems like Snowflake or BigQuery are designed to handle heavy analytical workloads. So generally the queries are run on millions of records or even billions of records. So what are the characteristics? They have large and heavy queries. They support complex joins and aggregations. They support columnar storage and optimized for analytics. Why columnar storage? Because generally the select statements are run on a column level. Okay, not every column is selected. We will learn more about columnar storage later. So the difference in code, example queries. So in OLTP query is like updating the balance. For example, you withdrew 1,000 rupees and then it will update the balance. And then in a OLAP query example is like aggregating the sum of sales by year, by region. Okay, so this is an example of an OLAP query. Okay, this is more of an analytical query. Okay. Now, how data is stored? So OLTP uses row-based storage and OLAP uses column-based storage. What it means is that every row over here, okay, the row definition which we already read in previous videos, okay, so every row is stored together and every column is stored together in column-based storage and every row is stored together in row-based storage. This is a detailed topic and we have created a detailed video on this and it is not very long, so I would recommend you to pause this video over here and go to that video. I will paste a link of that video over here, okay, and come back so that you will get a clear understanding of how row-based storage and column-based storage work, which is very important and it's a common concept across databases. So there we will also go through the different encoding techniques which are used in column-based storage, just as an example. Okay, it's a beginner friendly video, do go through it. Okay, so moving forward, now this is a flow diagram. Okay, OLTP runs the business, OLAP analyzes the business. So this is the business operation. All the transactions are run on OLTP. Consider OLTP is like an engine. Okay, one system is designed to handle thousands of daily transactions to keep operations running smoothly. Okay, and the other is built to analyze the vast history of those transactions to help leadership make strategic decisions. Okay, so it will handle all the transactions and this OLAP system will analyze all the transactions which are there in OLTP system and it will create reports for the leadership who can take strategic decisions like which department is not performing well, which department is performing well, which product is not performing. All that analysis is done in OLAP system and all these transactions are done in OLTP system. So OLTP system is the engine and OLAP system is like a navigator for the business which tells where to go, which particular department leads to where. Okay, which department, how is my departments or my products performing. Okay, Now let's compare OLTP versus OLAP side by side comparison. Purpose is transactions, okay, small transactions, and his purpose is analytics for OLAP. Operations are generally insert and update, and OLAP systems are optimized for select and aggregate. Okay, so it is not that you cannot perform a select query in OLTP system or an insert query in OLAP system. What this line means that the system is optimized for insert and aggregate. This system is made for this. There are select queries running on OLTP, and there will always be insert and update queries on OLAP. Else how will you feed data in OLAP? Okay, but this is optimized for selection and aggregation queries. Okay, one of the ways of optimization is columnar storage. Okay, for which we recommended you to see the other video which we created. Okay, so speed, it is very fast, and it is slower because it has heavier queries. Data structure, OLTP is normalized as we have already discussed previously, and OLAP is generally denormalized for easier read. Users, there are many end users, there are only analysts and engineers and business users over here. And data size is generally small, okay, because, and here generally huge because the historical data is generally archived in OLTP system, and here in OLTP generally they preserve the historical data so that they can do some trend analysis. Now the partnership, how data flows from action to insight. So the OLTP system is the engine. Data is extracted, transformed, and loaded into OLAP system. There are multiple tools which are used for this particular process. In Datacraft Institute, we will learn those tools, some of those tools which is used to extract, transform, load OLTP from OLAP systems. Okay, tools like Matillion, these tools are used for extracting, transformation, and loading, or 5tran, or there are multiple tools like that. Okay, which will load data into OLAP system, which works as a navigator to create the reports and dashboards. Okay, so a simple analogy to lock it in to make your concept clear. This is the cashier, so whatever processes one's customer at a time, scans items, so whatever he does is fed in an OLTP system. Okay, and this is a store manager, so he generally uses an OLAP system. Okay, he creates reports on these particular data, whatever is fed into OLTP system, it is transferred into OLAP system through ETL loads, and this store manager creates a report on top of it. Okay, the focus is on the big picture and patterns over time. Okay, not just single transactions and all. Okay, so to summarize, OLTP system is for operation, OLAP system is for analytics, and SQL works differently across both, as we saw, and together they complete the data ecosystem. Thank you all. We will see in the next video. Okay, till then, happy learning. Bye bye.